Hey everybody, welcome back to the Metal Mill 52 workshop. My name is Bill, this is my shop. Been a while since I posted, but I kind of wanted to get something done for you to see before I actually posted another video. So if you haven't been following along, we're building a riding car, a Raritan riding car. It's a 3.5-inch gauge locomotive, and it includes some detailed plans for the riding car, which is a very neat assembly. It includes brakes and a few other things. In this episode, we'll make the bolsters. These car bolsters go on top by use of the kingpin. This is the kingpin that goes down into the trucks that we made in previous episodes. So I made two different ones. This one has the brake lever as part of it, and you can see what it looks like. It's really kind of cool because it's got some little roller assemblies in the bottom that were a little tricky and very interesting to make. So I hope you like this episode. Of course, if you have any questions, please ask. I'll do my best to answer for you. If you don't mind, if you're interested and don't have any questions, just please give me a thumbs up. It always encourages me to make more videos like this. And if you'll notice on this one, I'm trying a little bit different. I wanted to have something kind of completed before, rather than showing a lot of individual stuff here. So I wanted to get the bolsters done so that you could see what they look like in the end. And so what it means is my videos won't be every week, but probably maybe once a month or so, as I make progress on the project. So thanks again. Enjoyed having the opportunity to present this, and I look forward to giving you the next one. Have a great week, everybody. All right, just at a little stopping place, I've formed both of these pieces down to the correct length, milled them down, and they're 5/8 inch thick. Drilled the requisite holes. Just wanted to show I crazy glued the tag in there and drilled all the holes. It's drilled and tapped for 440. So I've got both of them done now. Pretty excited. It's a good stopping place. Working on the car bolsters here. Just stopped and to show the progress. What's kind of cool is there's some little rollers on the bottom of these bolsters, and they roll on top of the trucks. And the plans are clever. They have you drill a couple of number 30 holes on a 7/16 inch center at a certain distance in from the end. That you can see that on the plans. And then this is a number 32 drill that goes all the way down. Goes all the way through, and then there's a 7/16 inch hole there in the middle that the roller device will go into. So I just wanted to show this how this works. It's clever. These side holes basically hold the pin. They retain the pin in the roller, and interesting and fun to make so far. But I just want to show you the progression. What I'm doing, I'm using drills, stepping up to 7/16 inch drill. And then I'm finishing with an end mill to give me a flat bottom in the hole here. I don't know if it'll show up or not, but I'll show you the finished ones when I take them out there. But just using the end mill just to give a flat bottom to the hole. So here's the car bolsters. Got them cleaned out a little bit. You can see the neat little pocket there, and the side holes for the side pins, for the pins that'll hold the roller in place. So now the next thing I need to do is to put holes in the ends for the pins that keep this together with the side frame of the riding car. Interesting, there's a contradiction on the plans. It calls for a 7/16 inch hole here, but if you look at the pins, the pin is part number 36-17, and it's 5/16 inch diameter. So that worked out really well, having the 5/8 inch square 5C collet, and it's in the 5C collet chuck, of course, in the lathe. And as you can see, I just put a nice chamfer on there. Right. That was a productive little afternoon out here. I got the pockets for the roller assemblies made here, and got them reassembled. Here's and the parts on the end. There you go. That's where the little end pieces will go that hold the car bolster to the frame of the locomotive. Tricky little piece on the straps. Drilled a couple of number 10 holes. That was not tricky, but putting the ones in the end here. It calls for a number 42 size hole, and I'll show you. You can kind of obviously see what I did there. I used a little angle block to make sure I had it straight, and just located the marks. I marked it out. I located the marks with the wiggler, drilled a tiny number 0 starter hole, and this is the number 42 drill bit. And you can see I put a piece of tape around there just to make sure that I would have the depth. Luckily for me, my depth DRO is working. It's been acting up lately, but got all 4 of these drilled, and so these straps are basically done now. Yay. Alright, I've laid out these end plates. The first one I machined, I've drilled 12 holes and then a whole bunch more kind of chain drilled for the slot area. You can see that a lot clearer on this other one that I haven't done yet. This one only has 8 holes plus the slot, so pretty fun so far. But I'm getting ready. I stopped the machine. I'm done drilling on this one. I'm going to take the drill chuck out and then put in a collet with a 1/8 inch end mill and mill that slot. Alright, done milling the slot. As you can see, there's still a little half moon shapes where the drill went through, but that's okay because remember I was drilling on the center line of the line where the slot needed to be. Just a little bit of file work and that'll be good to go. Alright, a little productive time in the shop. First time I've been out here in quite a while. Just wanted to show you, it's always nice when you can look and see your holes have lined up in both pieces. So here's the 2 end plates and then the 2 little covers that will go over the slot and get fastened on at some point later. And there's a stopping point for tonight. If you've watched my channel at all, you'll no doubt know how much I love the pillar tool, the universal pillar tool. It's one of the favorite tools I've ever built in my life, and it looks very cool. It honestly was not that hard. It was a project, of course, but anyway, I digress. I love it because of stuff like this. I just finished drilling these tiny little holes in here. I decided to put some 080 screws in here to hold the face plates on, and so I've got the tapping size drill in there now. I drilled all the way through into the little plastic backing that I've got, and then I used a larger clearance drill with a little piece of tape on there to mark the 1/8 inch depth. So just having the pillar tool makes quick work. Well, the next step for the bolster assemblies is cutting the end blocks and corner blocks. So this is some 3/16 inch steel. It was 3/4 of an inch. I milled it down to 5/8, and then I cut them off and carefully ground all the edges square. I've got them lined up with the square edges there, so all of them have to be drilled and tapped for number 440 here on the ends, and then they all have to be drilled. 4 of them get a 3/16 inch hole through them, and 4 of them get a 5/16 inch hole. So I'm gonna do that. I'm not. Okay, here's the last one. This is one of the 5/16 inch thick ones. Just wanted to show my setup here. So I took the soft jaws out, put the good steel jaws in, used a center drill, then the tapping size drill. Then I went ahead and used the countersink to give a nice starting spot, then the full-size tap, and then a bottoming tap, which I actually made out of an old broken tap to make sure I got a 1/4 inch thick depth of thread in all of the pieces. So here's all the pieces with the holes drilled in them. The end ones have the small hole and the side ones have the large hole. I did make one mistake that I wanted to warn you about. The dimension for the hole is not the same. I made mine 5/16 inch back for all of these, and it's supposed to be 3/8, and I can't believe that, but it's 5/16 for these brake lever blocks. Anyway, so worst case scenario, I'll see if I have to adjust something. I'm thinking worst case scenario, maybe I'll have to shim a 1/16 inch shim on the end of all of these pieces. So just a quick update. As you can see here, I've bolted together the bolsters. I've got the little attachment points in place. I did it so I could test fit And I think I've got a solution. I did make a set of 1/8" spacers for the attachments that will go on the side plates. And I need to make the rollers now, but anyway, you can see what these look like. I used the countersunk 440 screws, obviously. And I don't know if you can see this behind there, but I used the same to attach 440 screws to attach this strap to the end plate. And I think what I'll do is when I get all said and done, I'll silver solder those in place. Probably will give it a little extra strength. What you see right here, I've just taken a piece of 3/8" diameter steel. It's about 2 1/4 inches long. I drilled it all the way through with 3/16" drill and reamer, and now I've used the green Loctite to Loctite in place a 3/16" brass rod. So that will be the bearing surface basically, and I'll be able to make wheels. Obviously I don't need this many wheels. They're only 3/16" wide a piece, but I figured what the heck, I had this piece of 3/8" steel. I figured I might as well make a whole stock of it. So now is a good stopping point. I'll be able to just let this dry overnight and come back and cut this off, cut the 3/16" rod off, and then I can slice up the wheels that I need for the pivots that go inside the bolsters. Hey guys, I left Russ's camera inside the house, so sorry about this. This is on the cell phone, but it looks kind of cool. I just couldn't resist taking a picture of it. I'm making the little wheels, and it's the 3/8" steel with the 3/16" brass rod Loctited inside there, and now I'm drilling it out. This is the last one I need to make, and I'm drilling it out to 1/8". Let me just show you. I'm going to set up, I've got the cutoff blade set up, but I'm going to mark it. I'll bring you back in a second. Yeah, I marked it out. I'm cutting it. Plenty of cutting fluid here. When I get down to the brass, you can start to see the brass center, like right here. Taking a little, it's going to be hard to do without an extra hand, but I'm going to cut the camera off, but I catch it with this with a little paintbrush, and it's just going to take another second, and I'll be all the way through. Here I'm making the first of the rollers. I had to turn down the stock to the right size. I had a little bit of oversized hole in there, and now I've just used a little 3/16" end mill to make a flat spot. Then I'll use a center drill and then an 1/8" drill to drill the hole for what will be the axle. And then I'll rotate it, and I'll be able to I'll swap the drill chuck out and use a proper collet, and I'll mill the 3/16" slot for the axle for the wheel itself. Here I am. I've got the 20-degree angle set, and I'm using the feeding in with the top slide. I've already drilled and tapped the center hole for the 440. Using a professional type cutoff tool, very gentle feed, backing it up, clearing it out, oiling it. I lock the carriage here with my carriage lock that Russ designed. Further in, you get more resistance, and it wants to move the carriage back. I'm going to readjust that. Blade wants to flex is what I'm trying to say. So what I've been doing, I'm going to turn, since I'm holding the camera with one hand now. Hey guys, as you can see, I've got Russ's camera out here, and perfect opportunity for me to put it on the lathe. I messed up one of these housings, so I'm making a second one, and I've learned some good lessons here. you want to, after you get done with the turning and drilling and tapping and so forth, you want to test fit the little wheel inside. And with 2 of these that I've made so far, I've actually had to file out the end a little bit. The first one I didn't do it while it was all together like this. This one, I definitely am doing it all together. I'll show you, let me show you the technique, but it's so much easier to file while you're holding it in the 5C collet chuck. So first thing I did was I used a little bit of a round file to relieve the inside of the notch and to see if that would give enough room for the wheel. It did not. So what I ended up using my little 1/8 inch square file, and I'm squaring off the corner area there on both of these. I've done that on both just to give a little bit of extra flat area, and it's so much easier to do it when it's being held in the 5C collet in the lathe like this. Of course you want to do it with the power off, because this would be bad if the lathe were to be accidentally started. But you just notch out the corner a little bit. You can do it by feel really, and once you see it, you turn it around, you can see, okay, I've got more of a squared off hole. Square this one off just a little bit more. About, for me anyway, about 50 strokes of the file, 50 or 60, something like that. Okay, I've got it squared out a little bit now. Now I can take my regular medium file and flatten that area. You can check it with your file to see if it is flat and can slide in. A little bit of a notch there. Nice thing about files is, versus milling or something, you're not going to take off too much material. You have plenty of chance to check. Okay, so I think this is good. Now I've already pre-flighted this to make sure that I'm using, just for test purposes, I'm using an 1/8 inch drill bit. Make sure the drill bit will go all the way through. You can see it does there. Alright, and then you want to make sure it goes through your wheel. These are the cool little 3/8 inch steel wheels with the 3/16 inch brass inside bearing basically. So let me brush this out. Get rid of all the dust inside there. Let's do a test fitting. So stick the wheel on. I'm not sure that's even enough actually, but you get the idea. So now I'm going to keep doing this, just keep gently filing. You can see how the wheel sticks out. This provides the bearing surface on the assembly, but it's not quite enough for the wheel to go all the way in. So I'm going to file that just a little bit more, and it's nice I can see it very clearly. And again, oh man, it's probably like just about 10/1000ths of an inch or so that it needs to get to be able, the wheel needs to be able to slide in. But anyway, I just wanted to show that technique, and now as soon as I have it so that it'll fit, then I can cut it off with a 20-degree angle. So I'll bring you back and show you what this all looks like. Alright, so just a little bit more filing, and it worked out fine. So you can see I've got the drill bit in there, and you can see the little roller wheel. So that's a pretty good example of what these things look like and how this is supposed to work, that provides the suspension for the Raritan riding car. The nice thing now, after all this work, I've already got the center drilled and tapped for a 440 screw, so now all I've got to do is cut it off. just about to put the final roller assembly together, I thought I'd show one thing. The little drill rod pins here, this is how they go. They go in those edges and it keeps the assembly from, I'm sorry, they go in here. They keep the assembly from rotating. So I'll bring you back in a minute and show you the whole finished thing. Alright folks, we'll pretty much make this the last installment of this episode here. We've got both car bolsters done. This is the kingpin here that goes into the rear part, and it will connect it to the trucks. Here we go. That'll connect into the trucks, and there'll be a little cotter key that goes below there. Not very complicated really, some basically sheet metal milling and drilling, making a little bit of decorative stuff with the covers. The only real moving mechanical part, and it's very interesting, is these little roller wheels that go in here. That's kind of an interesting and clever design. The roller wheels will rest on top of the trucks and provide the movement, a little bit of flexibility here. So that's both of them done. This one's a little bit more complicated. It's got the levers, the blocks for the brake lever in it. But other than that, it's identical to this one. So I will say I made plenty of mistakes in making the roller assemblies. Made total of four bad ones that I had to replace. This is the wheel material. I made a little bit more than I need, but I'm glad I did. I'll save that for future instances if I ever need to replace those wheels. Here's what the next thing, kind of show you. We've made the trucks obviously before, and there's the kingpin, and the car bolster assembly is the part I'm tracing here with my finger, and this part right here, kind of the T-shaped part. So it's kind of the backbone for the trucks, and there'll be the connectors on either end. The next thing I'm going to tackle is the side frames and the rest of the structure, and then it'll really look like something. I'll be able to put it all together, and I'll make the brake assembly and make those connections. So this episode here, we focused on the car bolster assembly here, the little pins and rollers and all that stuff that go in here. A lot of the stuff from page 36 of the plans. So thanks for watching. If you're interested, ask any questions you may have. As always, please give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. And have a great one. We'll talk to you soon.